Thanks, Tommy, for the great introduction, and thanks to the organizers for inviting us here today. It was 18 years ago I first went to Mongolia, and after more fermented mare's milk and Russian vodka than I'd like to admit to, I think we found what we went there for, and that is a world-class gold discovery. And I think you'll agree with me after we go through this set of slides. Our forward-looking statements. I think we forget as Canadian investors in the mining industry just how prolific the Tian Shan gold belt is. There's a number of Canadian companies active in this region, but it is the second most prolific gold belt in the world after the Vit Basin in South Africa. In the region, you have Kinross in Siberia, you have Eldorado in China, you have Centerra in Mongolia and Kyrgyzstan. You now have Rio Tinto through Turquoise Hill, all producing from major world-class gold deposits. There's a multitude of plus 5 million ounce deposits in this region. I think all of us that follow the mining industry have heard about Turquoise Hill and Oyu Tolgoi over the last 10 years and the trials and tribulations they've been through with the government, but we forget that in 3 years they become a profitable gold copper mine and one of the largest in the world. I think they're number 6 today, producing 700,000 ounces of gold. So a real success story there, and we believe we have another emerging one in the southwest portion of the country. The transition that's gone on in the Gobi Desert since I arrived is staggering. When I arrived, the only part of that map in terms of infrastructure that existed was the Trans-Siberian Railway. That entire belt of new mines, roads, and rails that's come up from China has been built in the last 15 years. And it is staggering to be out there after seeing what was there 15 years ago. Our company has been built on regional exploration. Everything I'll talk to you about today was found, discovered through satellite down to boot and hammer. And as a result of that, we own 100% of each of the projects that I'll show you. No royalties or joint ventures on these projects. We do have a joint venture with Teck separately on porphyry copper exploration and others on other properties. But I will focus on the gold side. So in this area, which is about a 40-kilometer radius, we have 7 projects ranging from large porphyry, moly, copper to epithermal gold. The 2 I'll talk to you about today are the Altan Nar project and the Bayan Hundi project, which is further to the south, which we've just announced results on this week. Altan Nar was discovered in 2011. First drill hole in a geochem anomaly was 55 meters of over a gram of gold. And since then, we've slowly built the area into quite a sizable collection of targets. We expect there'll be a number of deposits at Altan Nar when we're complete. We do have a high-grade gold system. We have near surface. Everything we've drilled to date is within the top 150 meters and open. Significant exploration upside, and as I mentioned, 100% ownership. The style of deposit is analogous to the big Southeast Asian carbonate base metal type deposits. So you see a trend here, which is 6 kilometers long. When we first went out, there's not a lot of surface expression here. It was identified through soil geochem. We focused in on 2 that had some quartz rubble at surface, and that's why we have 2 that are more advanced than the others, but they're all significant targets. So we have drilled off a resource in the top 2 areas you see there, Discovery Zone and Union North. That's where the majority of the drilling has taken place. Drilling outside of that has been hugely successful. In our reconnaissance drilling, we're hitting mineralized zones, so 10 meters of a gram to 2 grams in 88% of the holes we drill in the other targets. So we believe there's a future here that's going to be much more sizable than the resource we have today. That resource includes about 200,000 ounces currently drilled off in the Discovery Zone in the top 150 meters. You can see some of the grades here. The core of this is averaging over 4 grams. All of those red histograms in the middle are over 4.5. You see in the text boxes on the side just how consistently well mineralized this is. It's a vertical system, so good for open pit operations. Again, you see that continuity of 10 to 20 meters of 5 to 10 grams gold equivalent. Gold equivalent I use in this case, gold is about 80% of the value of this deposit, but it is polymetallic, so you have lead, zinc, and silver as well. We stepped out 1.3 kilometers to another target, and again, we're seeing similar grades coming to surface. What surprised us here is all of these zones are recessed, so you don't really see expressions at surface. So we didn't know what to expect here other than we had some quartz rubble and manganese wad, which is typical of these types of systems. as we trenched it and drilled it, we just kept getting more and more parallel zones. So you've got that core that can get up to 19 meters of 15 grams at surface, but all of these zones are, 2 to 20 meters of 2 to 15 grams. So it's a fabulously rich system, a brand new area that's never been discovered before, never been known of before. The resource I mentioned, so Union North and Discovery Zone, the two areas in the red rectangles, if you use a high cutoff of 1.2 grams, you've got about 220,000 ounces in the 2 gram range of gold equivalent 2.4 to 2.8 grams. So great grades for initial starter pits, and as you saw in those sections, tremendous geometry for initial starter pits as well. So we have begun to do some strategic option analysis work with a group called Rungi Pincock Monarco, and that work is underway. Just looking at the scoping side of this, we've also begun metallurgical work. We're seeing both good response to cyanide leach, about an 88% recovery. We're also testing flotation of a metal concentrate to see if we can capture the lead, zinc, and silver, and we're getting some good returns on that right now. If I had to pick, it would probably be cyanide leach today, but both look acceptable. Moving on to the second target that we just announced this week, it's called Bayan Hundi, and this was an interesting discovery we made this summer. Extremely high grades at surface, and you'll see some of that as we go through it. We went down there in July. When we had some results come back in August, they were so high we felt that we couldn't go to the market with them, and we needed to do some trenching to back that up, and that's the news that came out in the last few days. This target, Bayan Hundi, is represented by those blue alteration areas. And you can see about a 1.4 kilometer strike length on these two targets separated by younger cover. But the main zone that we've done the testing on has given fabulous results. Those grab samples I referred to, over 300 meter strike length, I think 80% of the samples we collected came back highly anomalous, but you can see some of the highlights here. It's not uncommon to see an ounce, 2 ounce, up to 1,400, 4,000 grams of gold in these grab samples. Trenching, we expected to see a few meters of alteration carrying mineralization. We didn't expect to see multiple parallel zones, 10 to 30 meters wide, running through this entire system. And you can see the grades there, 2 to 3 grams of gold over multiple zones stacked 10 to 30 meters wide. So this is brand new, discovered this summer, just released in the last week. We think we're onto something quite special here. It has size potential. You can do the math yourself on what could be in here if these grades hold up, and we do have strike extension on this project as well. So we now have two, we think, fabulous new discoveries in southwestern Mongolia, one a little bit more advanced than the other, but both aiming towards large, high-grade resource developments. So we have some drill results in the hopper. They should be out in the next few weeks on Discovery Zone, where we've expanded the main zone there. I mentioned the strategic option analysis. We'll begin to crunch numbers, look at a scoping study, a preliminary assessment as we get into next year. Continue to expand both Altan Nar and now get some drilling done at Bayan Hundi. And ideally, as we get into middle of 2016, begin to develop a resource at Bayan Hundi as well. So just in summary, early in opportunity, new gold district, right at the start of that curve for value creation in the exploration business, and obviously at a low point in the commodity cycle. So there's not too many times you'll find a better opportunity to invest in companies like ours in the cycle. 100% ownership, no underlying interests, growth potential is unlimited, high grade. Grade, as we've heard a few times today, is king in this part of the cycle. Good metallurgy at Alton Nar. Perhaps very good at Bayan Hundi. We're seeing coarse, free gold, very little sulfide, so gravity should work very well there. We'll see when we get those results. Just 200 kilometers from the Chinese border, which gives us access to rail, gives us access to bringing in Chinese equipment. We've already started to cost that through the Rungi work and are quite comfortable that we can arrive at capital costs significantly less than you would in the West. We trade on the TSX. Our market cap today is approximately $14 million. We have a very strong shareholder register. Teck is our largest shareholder at 13%. We as management and directors have increased our ownership almost double in the last 3 or 4 years to 12%. We have a number of Asian funds in Hong Kong, Singapore, and Australia that back us, and have a strong retail base, largely in Eastern Canada. Montreal and Halifax would be the largest collection of investors, but a very stable, friendly, and supportive shareholder base. So I think that's it. Thank you very much. Be happy to take more questions at the booth.